Hey guys, Pyker here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying a unmanned refueler pod up to our space station to get our other pod back down safely to Kerbal, or Kerbin, rather. And we're going to actually probably do our moon landing today, too. I haven't really built the moon lander rocket, so the moon landing is probably going to be quite a few episodes, because I have a feeling that it's not going to go over too well, like right off the bat. So we're probably gonna have to play around and experiment a little bit, but I think I think it'll be pretty sweet. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna load up a unmanned refueler pod that I built earlier, and I might actually add a little bit more fuel to it just to play it safe, because basically what happened beforehand was that I got it up to the space station, but I only had half a tank of fuel left, so it was like, well, I guess that kind of defeats the purpose. I had enough fuel to refuel the command pod for the detachable pod from the command pod, but it still kind of defeated the purpose of even having this thing up there. So what we might do here is raise this whole thing up and add another bit of fuel here. Probably, actually, yeah, that might be a good idea. I'm trying to get all the I'm trying to use the least amount of fuel possible from our main fuel tank. So what I'm gonna do is add some more, if I can, add some more fuel here. There we go. And we need boosters. 215. That's the one we want. Why is that? I hate how that does that. Oh well, what are you gonna do? There we go. Alright, where are these engines at? Now, when do we want them to fire is the question. Do we want them to fire? Whoa. Is all this jacked up, or is it just me? Nope. Alright, we're good. Just lose those. We want these to fire when this detaches. The way I have this set up is that there's a few stages that are gonna just, we're gonna burn through majority of our stages. Well, actually, what's gonna happen? Solid rocket boosters and these four engines, these outrigger engines out here, are gonna be firing at the same time, and then these engines fuel these secondary engines, so that these ones will be full when we disconnect these. So that way we have more burn time as we're going up with not as much. We don't have to use as much fuel. And these extra four engines down here are basically just to help me avoid using our refueler pod. It's basically to make sure that I'm trying to not dip into the fuel that's supposed to be going to the space station as much as possible, basically, is what's going on with that. Hmm. So anyway, um, I think I think we're okay. Um, Obviously, this is a unmanned flight. This is our command module right here with our battery pack and our little generators to keep the batteries charged. Um, I'm just kind of worried that I'm gonna dip into that fuel source again, but I really don't know what else to do. I think our staging is all right. Looks to be good, anyways. Detach those. Detach those. And this will be our last. Yeah. All right. Everything looks good. So I will see you guys on the launch pad. Alright guys, we're back on the launch pad here, and it is nighttime, and we need to see where exactly our space station is so we can use the least amount of fuel, getting to it. And right now it's just overhead, it looks like. I mean, roughly just overhead. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually fast forward a little bit and get it in front of us. Just a little tiny bit. So hopefully by the time we reach that altitude that the space station's at, we'll be good when it comes to getting that stuff together. So what we're going to do is turn on our SAS and throttle up. And we're going to fire in 3, 2, 1, launch it. Oh God. Come on, get off the ground. Those 4 extra boosters couldn't have added that much weight. Come on. Roll up a little bit more. There's no way that those 4 tanks added that much weight. I mean, it took a little bit of time to launch when I first was doing this, but it didn't take that long. Well, I guess we'll just have to see. Almost out of our solid rocket fuel, which will shed some weight, but I mean, come on. Throttle all the way up. We're slowing down, but we shouldn't be slowing down too much before we start gaining speed again. There we go. Starting to gain speed again. Granted, this is taking a lot to get us up there. I really don't think that those 4 extra engines would have added that much weight. You know what? We might end up just taking those engines off, reverting this flight, because this is... We're about to lose our 2 external tanks right now, and we're not even at 5,000 meters. And let's engage those. Now we're slowing down quite a bit again. We might end up losing those. Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna do that real quick. We're gonna revert our flight to vehicle assembly. And basically, all I'm gonna do with this pod, hopefully anyways, all I'm going to do with this pod is I'm going to attach it to the space station, and then I'm going to just leave it attached so we can refuel it with random refueler pods. Not random, but you know what I mean. Oh, let's get rid of those two so we can see. And there we go. Alright, these, we want those to deploy when these ones are done. Ooh, drag. Alright, everything looks still good. Alright, let's try this again. I'm just leaving you guys with me while I load up the launch pad. It's just easier than to cut it real quick. So anyways, after this mission, we're gonna, well, this whole mission, we're gonna refuel the pod that we have up in the, connected to the space station right now, fly it back down to Kerbin, and then next episode I'm gonna actually build our moon lander. I actually have the moon lander, I just need to build the command module and the rocket that'll carry it. So, and then that'll probably be like ooh. I mean, that bounced a lot, but geez. Alright, so turning on our SAS, throttling up to just over 3/4, and launching in 3, 2, 1. I guess those 4 tanks did add that much weight. I mean, look how much faster this thing's loading up. Holy crap, my keyboard just jumped. This thing is accelerating so much quicker with this. It's ridiculous how little, like, I didn't even add that much, but it made it such a big difference. Whatever. We'll just do it this way. And I think our space station, yeah, that should be fine. All them boosters. So we're about to lose our solid rocket boosters. Gaining a lot more altitude a lot quicker. And Disconnect. Hopefully, these guys will get us up into somewhat of an orbit before we lose them. Just thinking. Really hoping that we don't use a lot of fuel to get to our space station. But never know. So if we can get some fuel up there, I'll be fine. I'll be alright with it. Disconnect. We are throttled all the way up. Losing some altitude, or losing some speed anyways, but we're still gaining. Shouldn't be losing speed for that much longer. Come on. Almost at 10,000. It might take us a while to design a rocket that actually makes our moon lander and command module up into the or up into orbit at least, and then we might end up actually having to dock with our space station to refuel the command module so we can get out to the moon and back. Because I didn't do that before, and I think it ended up screwing me because I ended up leaving. I had to leave the moon lander there. Which is fine, I guess. I mean, if you leave the moon lander in orbit around the moon, it means you can rendezvous with it, refuel it, and then just keep reusing the same moon lander. Which would be fine. I actually don't have a problem with that. We might actually just do that. Just have enough fuel to get us out there, and then have enough fuel in the command module to get us back. And if we have extra fuel in the moon lander, we can just transfer it back to the command module and use that fuel to get us back to Kerbin. Alright, so we're going to start our tilt here. Say about there, roughly. Actually set the Kerbal Space Station, or the Jebediah Space Station as our target. And we're looking good. Might overshoot it a little bit, but that's adjustable. Throttle down so we can kind of use our fuel wisely. Anyways. Come on. Gain some altitude. This thing's so heavy that it's just starting to tip over easily. I don't want it to do that. Look at our trail. It's like just basically going sideways. We're still gaining altitude, but not by much. Let's start all the way back up again then. Screw it. And we're about to lose these boosters. Disconnect. Oh! What just happened? What just hit me? Please, hold on, let's see here. Jumbo fuel tank collided into LTV liquid fuel engine. Looks like everything's still intact. At least I'm hoping it's still intact. A little bit more here. What I expected is that we're gonna end up dipping into our refuel tank, unfortunately. But I mean, that's just what it's gonna be until I figure out a more efficient way of getting a refueler up to the space station. It's kind of crappy, but I mean, not much I can really do about it. Considering how light this thing is right now, we shouldn't be having this much difficulty getting into orbit. at 27,000 feet per apoapsis, which doesn't really make sense to me. And I didn't want to use the main sail rocket boosters because I just didn't want to burn that much fuel that quickly, but we might actually end up doing that. I mean, it's gaining, but not by much. And we're using our main thrusters to get up there, which is kind of crappy. I'm not really stoked about this at all. Let's actually point straight up. More here. See if that helps us out. I mean, it is, but still not by much. I think I might end up trying this mission because it's not looking good. Cut our engines, look at our map, fast forward to our apoapsis. Wasn't this difficult the first time I did it? I don't know. I don't know. Might just add a little bit of extra fuel and might add a little bit of extra fuel and change the rocket boosters to the main sails so we can get up into the atmosphere quicker. It seems like it might be a better way to go about this. But we'll see. I mean, we're almost at half tank of fuel now. We're not even in orbit yet, so getting kind of screwing ourselves here. I wish it was a lot easier to get into orbit in this game. It'd make missions a lot more viable. Cut our engines. Fast forward. Our apoapsis. Point prograde again. Throttle back up. Alright, we're in orbit. And we have very little fuel left, which is not ideal at all. Which kind of sucks, actually. Let's add a maneuver and see if we can actually meet up with our space station relatively soon. It's looking like that's a no. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see here. Kilometers. 13.9. 13.2. 12.1. We might actually be able to deal with that. burn's only going to be for 4 seconds. So let's see how this works. All right, let's see. Where does that put us? 2.3K away. Now let's see if we can adjust that even more. 3.4, 2.2, 3.5, 2.2, 2.7. This is not looking too good. Not gonna lie to you. There we go, 0.9. I could deal with that. We don't have nearly any fuel. Crap. This is being a lot more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. Damn it. Alright, let's find our node. Where is our maneuver node on our... There it is. You can see it. We're going to start our burn. We only got 2.4 meters per second to change, so we actually don't need that much time. So in other words, less than a second of a burn. There we go. Alright, let's see here. 0.9. Everything's looking good. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward and get ready to change our thing to our target. Moving. What we might end up doing is actually almost coming to a stop here. So what we're going to do is we're going to point retrograde. And as we get closer, we're going to burn so we don't pass it up at 130 meters per second. And lag spike. Alright, so we're gonna point retro, slow down so that we can actually start pointing at it. Wait for that number to start getting big again. There we go. Alright, so now we want to point at the thing and start burning towards it. About 10 meters per second, that's fine. I can actually slow that down right now to about 5. Start adjusting our pitch and our angles and everything. We used a lot of fuel to get to this point, but realistically what we really need to do is refuel that pod and bring I'm not sure who's in the space pod, or who's in the pod, but we need to bring them back down to Kerbin. So if we burn a lot of fuel doing it, so be it. As long as we have enough fuel to get that pod out of orbit, that's fine with me. We can deal with that. All right. So now we're heading directly for our space station, which is a good thing. And what we're probably going to end up doing, we're going to fast forward a little bit, get to pointed towards the space station a little bit more here. And we're going to slow it down. We're going to start slowing ourselves down to about 3 meters per second, roughly. Yeah. About 3 meters per second. Let's do 2.5. All right, now we're going to start adjusting our direction here. And just so you guys know, if you guys don't know how to use or how to change the direction like I am right there, it's IJKL is different. It's like move laterally left or move laterally right. We're gonna actually slow down because we're coming in on the wrong end of the space station, unfortunately. And I want to dock. I want to dock over here. All right. Wait, did we set this as our? Oh, set as target. All right. So we're going to slow down because this thing is kind of headed to the wrong way here. Move our direction back down to where the port is. And we're going to wait until we get over towards it. We're going to actually speed the thing up to about 1 meter per second. It actually worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to because it didn't look good at first. But I mean, really, we don't have a lot of fuel. We have enough probably to get our command pod back out of orbit, which isn't what I was hoping for, but I mean, I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet here and just deal with it. So we want that guy roughly there. We need to do this as slowly as possible. So I don't hit the I don't know what just happened there. Something not good. Oh, that would be a good idea, huh, guys? Maybe open this docking port. That might help. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually switch to the space station itself and get this thing more adjusted to a reasonable docking area. I know I'm pushing that out of the way, but I really don't care at this point in time. So we're just going to do this like so. And everybody is freaking out in the space station right now, which is fine. They can freak out as much as they want. All right. Now, I want to spin so I can have the right controls that I need. We're going to back up. Down, and back forward a little bit. Point this, go this way. How far away are we? Pretty far away. So we're gonna make this our new target. And we're headed in the wrong direction right now, but that's fine. But we can do this and make it so come on, guys. Where are we at here? Are we going in the right direction? Nope. Whoa, 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 what are we missing here? Turn off our SAS. There we go. Connect, connect, connect. Sweet. All right. We are successfully connected. Granted, we don't have very much fuel, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to... Where are we at here? Who's in here? Kurt. All right, we got Kurt in there. We should have Jofsky in the command pod. Yep, Jofsky's in there. Sweet. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer our fuel into this tank. Pretty much, we're going to actually transfer every single bit of our fuel into that fuel tank. Sweet. All right. So now we want to disconnect our command pod. Let's see our RCS fuel here, though. Nope, wrong one. Take some of that RCS fuel, which that should be more than enough. We have everybody in their place, and we're going to go ahead and decouple this guy. Control this guy, so we're going to back away. Perfect. I just looked at the thing and I was like, oh crap, do I have parachutes on this thing? Because if we didn't, we'd be screwed. Alright, cool. So we're going to point back down towards Kerbin and get away from our space station. Yep, we want to go this way. And I am not shooting for an accurate landing here. We're going to shoot. We're just going to get away from our space station before we start firing our engine. Two parachutes, about half a tank of fuel, which should be more than enough to get us back into, get us out of orbit anyways. Alright. I think we're far enough away. Bet you that command pod view looks freaking sweet. We'll check that out here. Let's check this out real quick. We want to connect. Oh, wait, what am I on? No, that's why. I was on the decoupled piece right there. Command from vessel from here. And we're going to take a look at what Jofsky sees. Oh, that's a cool sight. Look at that. You can see our pod just floating away gently. What's that say? Left the engineering. I think that says engineering. Oh, emergency slide. Something in the bottom right cabinet. Bill Kerman. P.S. I ate all the snacks. Damn you, Bill. You bastard. He ate all the snacks, guys. What's that? These are cool. Stop using bits of metal as fuses. You have spares. Hey, don't tell me how to run my space station, okay? Maybe I like using bits of metal. Huh? Did you ever think of that? Someone eating it right there. That's pretty sweet. This is actually a really cool view. As soon as that decoupled piece goes away, which it will eventually, but we're not really worried about that right now. Alright, so we're back in our pod. And we're going to go ahead and start burning to deorbit here. Which this should work just fine. Actually, you know what? We'll fast forward a bit. Start burning at our apoapsis. Retrograde here. And then we'll start re-entering the atmosphere, hopefully. Should shrink everything down. It's we're going to shrink this puppy down to right about there. That's about good. Alright, and then we're going to fast forward. We'll start re-entering the atmosphere, and as soon as we start doing that, we're going to point retrograde again, and we're going to start burning just to slow our descent down, because we're coming in pretty hot right now. We're coming in about 2 kilometers a second, which is a bit much. So we need to point retrograde, and as soon as we start hitting the atmospheric drag, we're going to start, or as soon as we get out of the atmospheric drag, we should start burning. I'm going to try to land at the Kerbal Space Station because it's right there, but we'll see how that works out. So we should be roughly in orbit. Yep, there we go. Alright, so we're going to start burning to slow ourselves down, because that's just a good idea. Look at our map here. Deploy. And we're going to want to deploy everything here shortly. So we're going to disconnect, fire our parachutes, which hopefully this will slow us down just enough before we hit the ground. I hope. There's the Space Center. That's pretty cool. Coming in right above it, pretty much. Come on, slow us down. Slow us down. We need to get under 100 meters per second. Come on. You got quite a bit of time before those parachutes fully deploy, so I think we'll be okay. Turn our SAS off, because we don't need it on. Need to get under 100 meters per second before those parachutes deploy. Well, I mean, we have two, so we should be okay, but I'm not holding my breath because I've lost Kerbals this way before. But we're 13.1 kilometers away from the space station, which is pretty cool if you ask me. That was an unintentional close landing, I guess you could call it. Come on, slow down, slow down. Please slow down. You can slow down anytime now. That'd be great. Come on, get under 100 before it gets to 500 meters. Come on. 110, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, come on, come on. Deploy, deploy. Deploy, please don't rip off. Please don't rip off. Ah, and we're safe. Kurt, you lived to fly another day. At least we didn't land you in the mountain ranges. We all saw how that went. Didn't go good, in case you were wondering. Or didn't go well, in case you were wondering, Kurt. You luckily get to land softly into some water. So we're going to fast forward and get you on the floating helplessly in the ocean 13 kilometers away from the space station. And we have a safe landing. Woo! That'd be actually kind of cool if I can, like, spin it so much that it actually paddles itself through the water. That'd be sweet. Alright guys, well that's it for this episode. Next episode we're going to be building our command module and our moon lander, and hopefully we're going to be able to get on the moon next episode. So thanks for watching. Remember, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because there's going to be quite a few more episodes of this. I also picked up a few new games that I'm going to start doing Let's Plays for, but I kind of wanted to get to the moon and back with Kerbal Space Program first. So anyways, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.